Are you going to keep letting defeat run your life, or are you finally going to rise? Have you scrolled through a men's Facebook group lately, or even just on social media in general, and noticed how many posts sound the same? Men are saying, I feel lost. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm trying, but nothing's working. Hundreds, if not thousands of comments from men saying they feel stuck, defeated, and like no matter what they do, life is slipping through their hands. And it's not just online. I hear it in conversations all the time. A man laughs with his buddies, but then the moment that there's silence, you can feel the weight, on his shoulders. You can see it in his eyes, the way they drop and the way he changes the subject. And if you pay attention, you will see it everywhere else. You'll see it in the grocery store, men with that blank, tired look just going through the motions. You'll see it in the gym, guys with headphones on, lifting heavy, but their soul isn't in it. You even see it in the mirror some mornings, don't you? That question that is just staring back at you. Is this really all my life is going to be? Brother, I've got to call it out. Men are defeated. Not because we're weak or because, we don't care, but because the weight of life has crushed us into survival mode. And here's the thing, I get it. I've been there. You've done what you thought you were supposed to do. You show up to work, you try to provide, you try to keep everyone happy, but inside, you're running on fumes. And now those fumes are starting to fade too. Hey man, I'm Kyle. I'm a certified master NLP practitioner and a certified master success coach for men who are tired of performing and ready to start leading life from grounded masculinity. And just for you watching this, I have put free resources in the description below for you to get for yourself and to start making the change, as well as the opportunity to work with me. And when would now be a good time to do that? Leave a comment also, and let's get a conversation started for our brothers, a real conversation. So let's get brutally honest with each other for a second, okay? When men say they feel defeated, it usually shows up in three areas of life, and that's in their career, relationships, or finances. Now, it could be one of the other six areas of life, but I have found that these are the top three causing the most problems for men today. And some men are actually dealing with two or more at the same time. No wonder you feel defeated. It's like as soon as one thing starts to get better, bam, something else hits you and you get knocked back down again. You get up, dust yourself off, then something else hits you from the other side. And guess what? You're back down again. And I get it, man. I really do get it. Think about your career right now. You wake up, hit the alarm, drag yourself out of bed, and it's the same routine on repeat. Clock in, sit through meetings that don't matter, do tasks that don't light you up, clock out, drive home. Maybe it's the paycheck, maybe the paycheck is decent, maybe it's not. Maybe the benefits aren't that terrible, but they're not that great either. But deep down, you know the truth. You feel like a cog in someone else's machine, interchangeable, forgettable, and really disposable. And here's the part that you don't tell anyone. You know you're capable of more. You feel it in your chest. You've got ideas, leadership, creativity, this fire inside of you, but instead of using it, you're drowning in, busy work. And every day that you don't use it, that fire dies a little more. Be honest with yourself. How many Sundays have you spent with that pit in your stomach, already dreading Monday? How many times have you stared at your computer screen, scrolling emails, asking yourself, what the hell am I even doing with my life? And maybe you tell yourself, at least I have stability. But stability without fulfillment isn't really stability. It's just your slow death. Because when a man is, when his work isn't tied to purpose, it just becomes labor. And labor without purpose doesn't just exhaust your body, it drains your soul. That's why you feel numb. That's why you feel invisible. That's why you feel like no matter how hard you work, feels like it's never enough. You're not lazy and there's not something wrong with you. You're just misaligned. Brother, a man without purpose at work is like a lion pacing in a cage, powerful but trapped. And here's the harsh truth: if you don't face this now, 10 years will fly by and you'll still be sitting in that same chair, staring at that same computer, wondering how the hell you wasted the prime years of your life doing work that never made you come alive. Now let's look at the area of life around relationships, right? When was the last time your woman looked at you with fire in her eyes, like she trusted you, respected you, wanted you, right? If we're being brutally honest, it's probably been a while, hasn't it? You know, she doesn't feel you anymore. She feels the distance. She feels the way you shut down after long days, offering her a shell of yourself instead of your presence. She feels the smile you give her. Deep down, you're just checked out. You're already numbing yourself with more work, screens, or distractions. And here's what happens. At first, she tries to reach for you, right? She asks you questions. She checks in. She leans in with her energy. But when she keeps running into that wall that you've built, she starts to pull away. It doesn't happen all at once, okay? It's subtle, right? Less intimacy, less laughter, less eye contact, more silence at the dinner table if you even eat at the table together, more scrolling on her phone next to you at night. Not because she doesn't love you, but because she doesn't feel safe with you anymore. She doesn't feel led by you anymore. She doesn't feel your grounded masculine presence holding the frame of the relationship. And when the feminine doesn't feel safe to soften, right? She hardens. She steps into her masculine. She starts leading herself. And every day you guard yourself, every day you only give her, half of you, that wedge between you just grows. And brother, let me tell you something you may not want to hear. If you keep this up, one day you'll wake up and she won't be there. Not because she wanted to leave, but because she couldn't stay. Because staying with a man who refuses to open, refuses to lead and to show up fully, it kills her just as slowly as it kills you. And don't kid yourself, man. She sees it. She feels it. The feminine is really wired to feel what's really underneath the surface, right? And when you won't let her in, she'll eventually go somewhere else that she can feel again. So the question becomes, are you willing to keep guarding yourself and watching her slip away, or are you ready to reclaim the man who can actually hold her heart again? Now, let's not skip over the financial pain. Okay. How many nights have you stared at your bank account, refreshing the app over and over, wondering how the hell you're supposed to make it all work? How many times have you laid in your bed, your woman asleep next to you, and you're wide awake doing math in your head? Well, if I can move this bill here, maybe I can cover rent. If the paycheck comes in at this time, maybe I can stretch groceries a little further. And let's be honest, how many fights have started in your home because of money stress? Not even because she's greedy or asking for too much, but because the weight of financial uncertainty changes the entire atmosphere in your house. Every conversation feels tense. Every little expense feels like a landmine. Finances are one of the biggest reasons men feel defeated because when money is tight, your sense of power feels like it's stripped away. You feel like you're failing, like you're not enough. You feel like you're breaking the very role that you were wired to play, provider, protector, and leader. And here's the thing, you might not even say it out loud, but you feel it every time you pull out your debit card and hope it clears. You feel it every time your kids, want something and you tell them maybe later, even if it's something small. You feel it every time your woman asks, "Are we okay financially?" And you paste on that fake smile, trying to hold back the panic. and really the shame of it. And it eats you alive. Because money stress doesn't stay in the bank account. It bleeds into your confidence. You second guess yourself more. It bleeds into your bedroom because how can you feel powerful and present when you're weighed down by financial fear? It bleeds into how you see yourself as a man. Every dollar missing feels like that proof that you're failing. And brother, let's just call it what it is. Money can become the quiet killer of your spirit. Not because money is everything, but because without stability, you can't breathe. You can't relax. You can't step into your higher self when survival is all you know. Here's the hard truth that most men avoid, and I see it a lot, you know. But if you don't start facing money like a leader, it will own you. It will dictate your choices. It will control your stress. It will define your worth in your own mind. And if you let that cycle run unchecked, you will spend your life enslaved to, the next bill, the next paycheck, the next, man, I hope things work out. You know, Meanwhile, decades are gone, dreams are buried, purpose is abandoned, all because you never stepped into leadership over your financial reality. So let me ask you, right? How much longer are you willing to let money define your manhood instead of mastering it yourself? Career, relationships, finances. These aren't just pieces of your life. These are really pillars of your masculinity, the foundations that you stand on. And when those pillars are cracked, you don't just feel stressed, you feel defeated. Because let's be real, it's not just about money. It's not just about arguments at home. It's not just about, clocking in and out of a job that you hate. It's about those things, you know, it's about what those things say to you when you're alone with your thoughts. It's about the message they whisper to you in the quiet moments. You're failing. You're not enough. You don't have what it takes. That's the voice you hear. That's the voice that eats at you. That's the voice that keeps you awake at night. That's the one that makes you shrink when you should be standing tall. And brother, you can't keep living like that because if you do, it's not just stress you're risking, it's everything that matters most. When your career is out of alignment, you lose sense of purpose. And a man without purpose is a man who drifts until life decides for him. When your relationships are out of alignment, you lose your woman's trust. And once that's gone, it's almost impossible to win back. When your finances are out of alignment, you lose your sense of stability. And without stability, you can't lead anyone, not your partner, not your kids, not even yourself. And here's the truth you don't want to face. Every day you ignore this, the cost gets higher and higher. Every day you tell yourself, I'll figure it out later, that wedge grows. Every day you hide behind distractions, the life you want just drifts further away from you. Because when you keep living in defeat, here's what's really on the line. Your woman's trust, gone. She can't follow a man who can't lead himself. Your kids' respect, gone. Because they see the gap between what you say and how you live. Your own sense of worth, gone. Because you've built a life on survival instead of truth. And if you let that continue, you'll wake up one day realizing you've lost the very things you swore you were working so hard for. So the question isn't, is this a problem? The question is, how much longer are you willing to let your life bleed out before you finally face it? So, how do you start to turn it around? I'm glad you asked. It begins with one word, and that word is ownership. Stop waiting for the job, the woman, or the money to save you. Stop blaming your boss, the economy, or your past. Because here's the hard truth you've built the life you're living right now. And that means you also have the power to rebuild it. No more excuses. No more waiting. No more hoping something out there will change you while you keep living on autopilot. So here's where you start. In your career, stop asking, what do I have to do to get through the day? Start asking, what do I want to build with my life? Even if you can't walk out of your job tomorrow, you can shift your focus today. You can start aligning your skills and energy with purpose instead of just a paycheck. Because a paycheck feeds your bills, but purpose feeds your soul. In your relationships, stop shutting down. I've said this over and over again, right? Stop giving her the surface version of you. She doesn't want that. Presence isn't about grand gestures. It's about actually being there. One conversation where you tell the truth, one moment where you stop pretending you're fine, one night where you let her see your heart even if your voice shakes. That's what builds trust. That's what rekindles respect. That's what makes her lean back into you instead of pulling away. In your finances, stop numbing and start leading. Now, that might mean cutting out distractions. It might mean, you know, finally facing the numbers you've been avoiding. It might mean developing new skills instead of scrolling in your free time. Because clarity is power. And money doesn't respond to fear or avoidance, it responds to leadership. And here's the reality, if you don't take those steps, even, you know, even if they're small, if you don't take them and you keep numbing or you keep hiding or deflecting, the hole only gets deeper and bigger. The wedge in your relationship only grows wider. The weight on your chest gets heavier. But if you do, if you start owning your career, your relationships, and your finances, if you step out of survival and step back into your powerful state of being, you will feel alive again. You will feel trusted again. You will feel like a man again, right? And let's be real, that's what you've been craving this whole time. Not more distractions, not more someday, not more pretending. What you've been craving is the freedom that comes from finally stepping up and living aligned with your truth. So here's the question you need to sit with. Are you going to keep letting defeat run your life, or are you finally going to rise? Because let's be brutally honest, no one's coming to save you. Not your boss, not your woman, not your bank account, not the next self-help book and that you skim and then you forget about, but you. It's on you. And right now you're at a crossroad. If you keep choosing that same path, right? If you keep choosing the same patterns, the scrolling, the shutting down, the endless grind, don't be surprised when tomorrow looks exactly like yesterday and the day after that and the next 10 years. And brother, here's the truth most men never hear. You can be rebuilt. It is possible. Not patched up, not bandaged, but rebuilt from the inside out. Because the man you're craving to be, he's already inside of you. The one who walks with purpose, the one who holds his woman's trust, the one who looks in the mirror and actually respects the man staring back. He's in there, waiting. But he will not rise until you stop hiding and start leading. And if you don't, let's be clear about what's on the line. You don't just risk more stress, you risk losing her trust. You risk losing your kids' respect. You risk losing the chance to ever feel fully alive in this lifetime. So ask yourself right now, are you willing to pay that price just to stay comfortable? Or are you ready to burn down the excuses, take ownership, and finally step into the man that you were meant to be? If this landed with you, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Share it with a fellow brother that might need to hear it. Don't forget subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified whenever I release a new video. I also have free resources below that will help you to start rebuilding this from the inside out. These are tools that work, built for men like you. And if you're interested in making a real lasting change for yourself, I work with men just like you in a private one-on-one container. The application to work with me is in the description below, and just know I don't work with everyone. I only work with men who are bold, willing, and seeking. And if you're still here watching this, that's you. So hit subscribe for yourself, grab the tools, and reach out. Give me a follow too on social media. Links are in the description. Remember, you're not broken, you're becoming. I'll see you on the next video. Stay strong, brother.